You've been carrying something your entire life that you couldn't name. A weight, a knowing, a certainty that you don't belong here, not in the way everyone else seems to belong. And the fact that you're hearing these words right now, in this exact moment, isn't random, because what I'm about to share with you will finally give language to something you've felt since before you could speak. There are specific signs, recognizable, measurable markers, that indicate you're not from here. Not originally, and I don't mean that metaphorically, I mean your consciousness, the essential energy that animates your body, originated in a different dimensional frequency than Earth's baseline reality. You're what's known as a starseed, and if you're carrying certain signs, you're not just visiting this planet, you're preparing to return home. Now, before your logical mind dismisses this, let me show you something. Quantum physics has proven that consciousness isn't produced by the brain. It's non-local. It exists independent of physical matter. The double-slit experiment demonstrated that the observer, consciousness itself, collapses wave functions and determines reality, which means consciousness precedes matter. Your awareness existed before this body, and it will continue after. Science has confirmed what mystics have known for millennia. We are not bodies with consciousness. We are consciousness temporarily focused through bodies. And here's where it gets interesting. If consciousness is non-local and exists across multiple dimensions simultaneously, then the concept of extraterrestrial or interdimensional origin isn't fantasy. It's probability. You are a multidimensional being experiencing one specific frequency band called Earth. But some consciousnesses, starseeds, carry active memory and energetic signatures from other dimensional coordinates, other planetary systems, other civilizations, other frequencies of reality entirely. The ancient Vedic texts describe this. They spoke of beings incarnating from other lokas, other planes of existence. The Egyptians encoded it in their mystery schools. Indigenous cultures across every continent have oral traditions about star ancestors. This isn't New Age invention. This is encoded in humanity's deepest memory banks. And now quantum mechanics is providing the scientific framework to understand what the ancients knew directly. So let's talk about the signs, because if you're a starseed, you've been carrying evidence your entire life. You just didn't know what you were looking at. The first sign, unexplained childhood memories that don't fit this planet. I'm talking about specific, detailed recollections that have no basis in your Earth experience. Maybe you remember technology that doesn't exist here, crystal-based systems, light as information, architectures that defy Earth's physics, or landscapes, purple skies, binary star systems, cities that feel more real in your memory than the town you grew up in. You might remember speaking languages that aren't human, understanding mathematical systems you were never taught, or having knowledge about stellar mechanics that a 5-year-old shouldn't possess. Most people dismiss these as imagination, vivid dreams, overactive childhood fantasy. But here's what's actually happening. Your consciousness is multidimensional. It exists simultaneously across multiple frequency bands. During childhood, before Earth's conditioning fully locks you into this singular reality, the veils between dimensions are thinner. You're accessing soul memory, embedded data from previous incarnations in other star systems. This isn't imagination bleeding through. This is memory bleeding through. And the more specific and persistent these memories are, the more they've stayed with you unchanged across decades, the stronger the indication that you're accessing real dimensional history. Your consciousness remembers where it's been, and those memories don't fit Earth's template because they're not from Earth's template. The second sign, your physical body feels wrong here. And I don't mean normal insecurity or body image issues. I mean a fundamental sensation that this density, this gravitational field, this atmospheric pressure, all of it feels too heavy, too thick. like you're wading through mud when you're designed to fly. Many starseeds report chronic unexplained physical sensitivities, extreme reactions to processed foods, inability to tolerate pharmaceutical medications at normal doses, electromagnetic hypersensitivity, sleep disruption tied to lunar cycles or solar activity, temperature regulation issues. The medical system will tell you this is fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, anxiety disorders. And while those diagnoses might describe the symptoms, they don't explain the mechanism. Here's what's actually occurring. Your energetic blueprint, your biofield, is calibrated for a different vibrational density. Starseed consciousness often originates from higher frequency dimensions where matter is less dense, gravitational fields are lighter, and the energetic environment is more refined. When that consciousness incarnates into Earth's denser, third-dimensional reality, there's a frequency mismatch. Your system is constantly trying to recalibrate. This is why so many starseeds struggle with grounding, why you feel more comfortable in meditation than in your body, why sleep feels like relief. Because during sleep, your consciousness temporarily returns to its native frequency. You're not broken, you're not defective, you're a high-frequency system attempting to operate in a low-frequency environment, and that creates friction. The third sign, instant recognition of ancient knowledge you've never studied. This one is profound because it reveals how soul memory actually works. You encounter Egyptian hieroglyphs for the first time, and something in your chest cracks open. You hear Sanskrit chanted, and your body responds before your mind understands. You see sacred geometry, the flower of life, Metatron's cube, the Sri Yantra, and you don't just find them beautiful. You recognize them deeply, cellularly, like greeting an old friend. Or you pick up concepts in quantum physics, metaphysics, or energy healing with unusual speed, not because you're intellectually gifted, but because you're remembering. The information feels familiar because your consciousness was present when these systems were being developed. In previous incarnations, in other civilizations, some on Earth in humanity's hidden history, Atlantis, Lemuria, pre-dynastic Egypt, civilizations that existed at higher frequencies before Earth's dimensional fall, and some in entirely different star systems where you served as teacher, architect, healer, scientist. This is why certain starseeds are drawn to specific ancient cultures with obsessive intensity. You're not just interested in Egypt or the Mayans or the Vedic traditions. You feel like you're trying to get back to something, to remember something crucial. Because you are. You're accessing the Akashic records of your own soul's journey. And those civilizations aren't ancient history to you, they're personal history. The fourth sign, technology and frequency sensitivity that others don't experience. If you're a starseed, you've probably noticed that electronic devices behave strangely around you. Streetlights flicker or turn off when you pass under them. Your phone glitches during emotional intensity. Computers crash, watches stop, or electrical systems malfunction in your presence, particularly when you're upset, excited, or in heightened states. This isn't coincidence, it's electromagnetic influence. Your biofield, the electromagnetic field generated by your body, operates at a different frequency signature than baseline human consciousness. And when you're emotionally activated, your field intensifies and expands. It can literally interfere with electronic equipment because you're broadcasting a frequency that disrupts standard electromagnetic patterns. But it's not just technology. Animals respond to you differently. They're either immediately drawn to you or inexplicably afraid. Because animals perceive frequency directly, they don't filter through the mental body like humans do. They feel what you are energetically. And starseed frequency, especially ungrounded starseed frequency, can read as foreign or overwhelming to Earth native species. You also physically feel collective emotional shifts before they become visible. Days before a major global event, you feel inexplicable anxiety or activation. You sense earthquakes before they happen. You feel solar flares in your nervous system. Your body is receiving information through quantum entanglement through the unified field that hasn't yet manifested in linear time-space. You're functioning as an antenna for dimensional frequencies that most people can't access. This isn't psychic ability in the mystical sense. This is advanced sensory perception operating through quantum coherence. The fifth sign, and this one might hit you in the chest, the homesickness that has no address. You feel profound nostalgia for a place you've never been. You look at the night sky and feel grief, crushing, inexplicable grief, like you're in exile, like you're waiting to go back, waiting to return to something, someone, somewhere that feels more real than anything on earth. This isn't depression, this isn't existential angst, this is dimensional memory. Your consciousness remembers frequencies, places, connections that exist in other realities. For some starseeds, this homesickness is tied to specific star systems: Sirius, Pleiades, Arcturus, Andromeda. You feel pulled to these names, these coordinates, with an intensity that doesn't make logical sense, because part of your consciousness is still entangled there. Quantum entanglement doesn't recognize distance. If your consciousness has experienced other dimensional locations, those connections remain active, always. And Earth, in its current dense frequency, can feel like imprisonment to a consciousness calibrated for higher dimensions. The limitation of linear time, the heaviness of fear-based collective consciousness, the slowness of manifestation in third-density reality, all of it creates this persistent ache, this bone-deep certainty that you're supposed to be somewhere else, that you're supposed to be going home. But here's what most starseeds don't understand, and this is critical. The homesickness intensifies right before the return becomes possible. Not because you're about to leave Earth, but because Earth itself is ascending to match the frequency you've been holding. The return isn't about evacuation, it's about planetary transformation, and you're feeling the proximity of that shift. The sixth sign, the mission obsession. You've had this your entire life, this relentless inner knowing that you're here for something specific, something important. Even when you have no idea what it is, even when your external life looks completely ordinary, there's this constant hum underneath everything, this urgency, this restlessness, this sense that you're supposed to be doing something, remembering something, preparing for something. Other people seem content with normal life, career, family, entertainment, comfort, and you try to care about the things you're supposed to care about. But underneath, always, there's this voice saying, this isn't why you came, this isn't the work, you haven't found it yet. And it creates this strange double life, the one you're living on the surface, and the real one you're waiting to begin. This isn't ego, this isn't delusion, this is soul memory. Before you incarnated into this body, you made agreements, soul contracts. You chose specific circumstances, challenges, and timelines because they would position you for particular work during Earth's ascension window. And that knowing, that pre-birth agreement, is encoded in your consciousness. It doesn't come through as clear instructions because third density reality creates a veil of forgetting, but it comes through as feeling, as certainty without evidence, as mission without map. And here's what happens for most starseeds. You spend the first half of your life trying to be normal, trying to fit in, suppressing the mission frequency because it makes you weird, difficult, unemployable. But eventually, the pressure becomes unbearable. Life starts breaking down your resistance. Relationships end, careers collapse. Health crises force you to stop because your soul needs you available. It needs you ready. and it will dismantle everything that keeps you locked in frequencies below your purpose. So, let's talk about what's actually happening here, the quantum mechanism behind Starseed experience, because understanding the science makes this real in a way that belief never can. Your consciousness is not contained in your brain. Quantum biology has proven this repeatedly. Studies on microtubules inside neurons show quantum coherence, subatomic particles existing in superposition, entangled across distances, operating outside classical physics. Your brain doesn't generate consciousness, it receives it, tunes into it like a radio, receiving a signal that exists independent of the device. And if consciousness is non-local, then it can exist simultaneously across multiple points in space-time. Multiple dimensions, multiple realities. Think of your awareness like light passing through a prism. The pure white light, your true multidimensional consciousness, splits into different frequencies when it passes through dimensional densities. Each frequency band is a different version of you, existing simultaneously. Earth is one band, but you have expressions in other star systems, other dimensions, other frequency realities, all happening now in the eternal present moment that quantum physics calls the block universe. Starseeds are consciousnesses who maintain active awareness of multiple frequency bands simultaneously. Most Earth humans are focused entirely in third density. Their consciousness is locked into this single frequency. But starseeds have thinner veils. Your consciousness bleeds through from other dimensions. That's why you remember things you shouldn't know. Why you feel connected to places light years away. Why Earth feels temporary. Because experientially it is. You're aware of the fuller spectrum of your existence. And here's the part that changes everything. The return home that you're feeling, that urgency, that acceleration, it's happening now because Earth is shifting frequencies. The planet itself is ascending from third density into fourth and fifth dimensional frequencies. This is measurable. The Schumann resonance, Earth's electromagnetic heartbeat, has been spiking to unprecedented levels. The magnetic poles are shifting, solar activity is increasing. These aren't random events, they're symptoms of dimensional transition. And starseeds incarnated here specifically for this window. You came to anchor higher frequencies into Earth's grid during the shift. Your biofield, calibrated for higher dimensions, acts as a stabilizing force. You're literally holding frequency codes that help Earth's transition occur more smoothly. That's the mission you've been feeling. It's not something you do, it's something you are. Your presence here, your frequency signature, your refusal to fully density into third dimensional consciousness, all of it serves the planetary ascension. The return home isn't about leaving, it's about Earth rising to meet you. And you're feeling it accelerate because we're in the final stages. The frequency gap between your natural state and Earth's dominant frequency is narrowing. That's why everything feels more intense now, why your sensitivities are amplifying, why the mission urgency is becoming unbearable, because the return is imminent, not as departure, but as reunion. So what do you do with this information? How do you function as a starseed in a reality that still operates mostly in third density consciousness? First, stop fighting the body discomfort. Your system isn't broken, it's sensitive. And sensitivity is your strength, not your weakness. Instead of trying to tolerate Earth's density, create practices that honor your frequency. Spend time in nature, barefoot on the Earth. The planet's natural electromagnetic field recalibrates your system. Drink more water than seems necessary, but your body needs it for electrical conductivity. Reduce electromagnetic exposure, turn off Wi-Fi at night, minimize screen time, create technology-free zones. Your nervous system will thank you. Second, trust the ancient recognition. When something triggers that cellular knowing, follow it, study it. Not because you need to prove anything, but because you're following breadcrumbs back to your own soul history. Those aren't random interests. They're memory fragments trying to become conscious. And the more you integrate your multidimensional history, the more access you have to the skills, knowledge, and frequency codes you've carried across lifetimes. Third, work with the homesickness instead of being destroyed by it. Create rituals that acknowledge your cosmic origin. Spend time under the stars, not just looking, connecting. Consciously send awareness to the star systems you feel drawn to. Sirius, Pleiades, Arcturus. Speak to them, thank them, acknowledge that. Part of you exists there still. This isn't escapism, this is quantum entanglement. You're strengthening the coherence between your Earth expression and your stellar expressions. And that coherence is what allows you to be fully present here while remembering fully who you are. Fourth, reframe the mission obsession. You're not behind, you're not missing it. The mission isn't a specific job or role. It's frequency work. Every time you choose love over fear, you're doing the work. Every time you refuse to density into collective unconsciousness, you're doing the work. Every time you maintain your frequency in environments designed to lower it, you're doing the work. You don't need to know the details of the mission to be completing it successfully. Your presence is the mission. Your frequency is the contribution. And finally, understand that the return is already happening. You don't need to wait for some future event. Earth's frequency is rising now. Your body is changing now. Your DNA is activating now. The crystalline structures in your cells are coming online. You're not waiting to go home. You're watching home arrive. And every starseed holding frequency on this planet is part of the anchoring team that makes this possible. You were chosen for this, not by some external authority, but by your own soul. Before you incarnated, you looked at Earth's timeline and you said yes. Yes to the density. Yes to the forgetting. Yes to the loneliness of carrying frequency in a world that doesn't recognize it. Because you knew what was coming. You knew Earth would ascend. And you wanted to be here for it, not as observer, but as participant, as anchor, as bridge. The signs you carry aren't just markers of origin, they're confirmation that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, doing exactly what you came to do. The discomfort, the homesickness, the mission urgency, all of it is fuel, all of it is activation, all of it is proof that you're online, awake, and serving the highest possible purpose during the most transformative period in Earth's history. You're not an exile, you're an emissary. And the return you're feeling isn't escape, it's remembrance. Welcome home, Starseed. You've been here all along.